Howdy friends, Banjo Ben here with my good buddy Dave Dillard. Welcome to the cabin,
Thank
Dave.
you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man. Well, some folks out there know you, but there's a lot of folks that don't, and I'm excited for them to get to meet you. Today we're talking about Clawhammer Banjo.
Yes.
In particular, Clawhammer Banjo that's coming to the Banjo Only Cabin Camp this fall. Here in
I'm
Mount Juliet,
excited
Tennessee.
about it.
Yeah, we did this in the spring, and it was a big hit.
Yeah.
The campers walked away whistling zippity doo dah as they left your camp.
They were so
excited, and so we've been requested to have you back. I've requested to have you back. You've agreed. So I want to talk to some folks out there about Clawhammer Banjo. We just want to talk a little bit about it and what they can expect at the Banjo Only Cabin Camp this fall.
Yeah.
If they're doing Clawhammer Banjo. By the way, the dates on that are September 30th through October 2nd. That's a Thursday through Saturday, and it is the most fun weekend that you can imagine. It's very diverse throughout the weekend, isn't it? We go all over the place. We're here near Nashville, so we get to tie in some of those Nashville sights and sounds. But most importantly, you can come having never played Clawhammer Banjo before, and leave at the end of the weekend being able to play Clawhammer Banjo.
I can teach a doorknob how to play Clawhammer Banjo.
But a lot of people out there they might have the question, what is Clawhammer Banjo? And that's what I want to ask you, and see if we can demonstrate some of that.
That's a good question. You know, I used to play three-finger style banjo, and that's all I knew for a while, but when I heard Clawhammer Banjo, I fell in love with the sound. And it's a way of striking the strings down with your hand instead of picking up with picks. And you get to put in the rhythm and the melody and the chords all together, and makes you want to dance.
I have a confession to make. I was not raised around Clawhammer Banjo. I hadn't been around it that long as an adult, and I was a bit shy toward it at first because I was such a bluegrass banjo fan and player. But now I find myself drawn to it perhaps as much or even more at times than bluegrass banjo. There's something about it that stirs something special that's deep down inside of me. I just want to demonstrate some of that, let folks hear that. So how about we just demonstrate the difference between Clawhammer and bluegrass style banjo?
Yeah. So play a line of like Cripple Creek, how you would do that on three-finger banjo.
Okay, something like this.
So you're picking up and getting the notes out of them. They're good, strong, and punching out their notes. On the Clawhammer Banjo, I'm going to strike down and get the notes and focus a little bit more on the chords behind it and a little bit of the rhythm, and not getting every single note out of that melody, but hinting at it in a lot of ways. So a little bit more gentler sound to it.
It is, and obviously different forms happening. We're both playing banjos, but they look a little different. Just briefly, tell me the difference between your banjo and mine.
Yeah, well, you can play Clawhammer style on a resonator banjo.
That's important to point out, because if you're looking to come and learn Clawhammer Banjo, you don't have to get any new equipment if you're already a banjo player. You can bring any banjo will work, right? As long as it's 5 strings.
Any banjo with 5 strings will work.
Okay.
Now, when you play Clawhammer style, like I said, it's a little bit kindler, gentler kind of sound. And so we use an open back banjo. You can see there's no resonator back on this banjo compared to a three-finger style banjo.
When you did the camp in the spring and you had those dozen Clawhammer students, most all of them had resonator banjos.
Yeah, they were all playing bluegrass banjos.
Okay.
So 1 or 2, and they learned to play, and then they wanted to go get an open back banjo, which suited me just fine.
Yeah, yeah, because you're a banjo builder too. That's part of the fun thing over the weekend is that we go and visit your shop. We have several different fun field trip excursions planned throughout the weekend. One of them is to go to your banjo shop. I jokingly call it your factory, Dave's Banjo Factory, and see how you create these banjos by hand.
Yeah.
We also get to go to Groon Guitars, where Joe Span and George Groon give us a private class, so to speak, a private lecture on the history of the Gibson Master Tone Banjo by the experts in the field. That's incredible. We also have a focused setup class for how to do everything on your banjo, from changing the strings to setting your action, moving your bridge, truss rod adjustment. It's a very diverse weekend.
It is.
And with lots of good food and good people there too. Let's do this just to let them hear a little bit more. I'll play like the first phrase of Cripple Creek, you play the second, I'll play the third, you play the fourth, and then let's just play it again through together.
All right.
And kind of hear those two styles together, because I think they marry together pretty well.
Not too fast, Ben.
Okay, here we go. I love that Clawhammer banjo. So folks, if you want to learn how to play Clawhammer banjo, be introduced to it, then you really need to check out the Banjo Only Cabin Camp here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, September 30th through October 2nd. Literally no experience required, right?
None.
You don't have to be a good bluegrass banjo player. You just got to have a banjo and a willingness to learn.
Yeah. I'll take my students, teach them from the start how to do the basic hand stroke, and by the time the camp is over, they'll know 4 or 5 songs to go home and just amaze their friends and family.
Oh man, and you give them all kinds of great professional handouts and resources to take home and ways to continue their Clawhammer journey as they go. Mm-hmm. And also, I should say that even if you sign up for the Clawhammer spots, that you also get some interaction with Alan Mundy, the banjo legend, and me. I'm teaching you a lot through the weekend that's just kind of banjo neutral. It applies to all banjo playing, as well as my sister Katie Luke, who's one of the instructors. Yeah. So you kind of bounce around and get to learn from several different people. The Clawhammer students, of course, spend the most of their time with you.
Yeah.
And
we have the most fun.
You do have the most fun. I have a feeling that may be the case this fall, too. So thank you, Dave. We might play him another song as we go out, but I appreciate you coming by the cabin.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, man.